Now available on DVD.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Hollywood comes the most exciting motion picture news. Walt Disney has released his first feature production. Mickey Mouse becomes a world of imagination, hopes, and dreams.
This was the world of Walt Disney. From here, he reached out to touch us with his spirit, inspire us with his imagination, excite and entertain us with his vision. Now, in the year he would have celebrated his 100th birthday, Walt Disney's spirit continues to captivate us. His legacy endures in a very special collection. I'm proud to be your host for Walt Disney Treasures.
An all-new collection of 4 limited editions, each individually numbered. Enjoy the fun-filled antics of Silly Symphonies and Mickey Mouse in living color. Take a nostalgic tour of Disneyland USA and journey into the wilderness with legendary frontiersman Davy Crockett.
Let Walt Disney share his vision and his greatest treasures with you.
Walt Disney Treasures, exclusively on Disney DVD.
Hello, I'm Leonard Maltin, and you're about to see a slice of movie history that can also qualify as a milestone in popular culture, the debut of Mickey Mouse. In our media-saturated universe, with thousands of cartoons available on television 24 hours a day, it might be difficult to appreciate the impact that Mickey Mouse had on the movie-going public back in 1928. But let's try to step back in time and understand why it was so special. Cartoons have been a regular part of the movie program since the teens. While audiences enjoyed them, they didn't give them much thought. Many popular newspaper comic strips were transferred to the screen, but only a couple of original animated characters achieved real fame. Max Fleischer's Coco the Clown and Pat Sullivan's Felix the Cat. Otherwise, most people, even in the film industry, tended to think of cartoons as interchangeable. That's one reason that Walt Disney had such a hard time in the 1920s. His 1927 creation, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, didn't stand out from the crowd. And when the character was taken from him and given to another animation studio, I doubt that anyone noticed. Walt produced the first 2 Mickey Mouse cartoons on his own, on speculation, without a commitment from any distributor. Then he took the biggest chance of all, trying out a new sound-on-film technique. Steamboat Willie was built on the foundation of sound and music. And when Walt convinced a New York City theater owner to give it a try, the response was simply phenomenal. Why? Because in 1928, only a handful of live-action talking pictures had been released. So the idea of sound itself was still brand new. The notion that cartoon characters could move to the rhythms of music in perfect syncopation, and that funny sounds could emanate from the screen, was an absolute sensation. I've often felt that Mickey Mouse, like Walt, was in the right place at the right time. If another character had starred in Steamboat Willie, we might be telling a different story today, because Mickey's character wasn't terribly interesting or individual. He was just a happy-go-lucky guy with an eye for a pretty girl, in this case, Minnie. That's why it's so interesting to see how Mickey developed year by year, film by film, as Walt tried to imbue him with a distinctive personality. Walt and his staff came to realize pretty early on that Mickey had great appeal, but he wasn't terribly funny. So they surrounded Mickey with a funny supporting cast, including Pluto, Clarabelle Cow, Horace Horsecollar, and the silly fellow who would come to be known as Goofy. And they kept the gags coming thick and fast. Walt placed great emphasis on the invention of gag ideas and offered bonuses to anyone on the staff who contributed good ones to the newest cartoon. But you'll see that even in a 1932 entry like The Whoopie Party, music still plays an enormous role. The film positively pulses with music, and a wonderful energy comes from that constant rhythm. Even inanimate objects come to life in order to sway to the music along with Mickey and Minnie. Some of these cartoons might be considered primitive by today's standards, but they're still a lot of fun to watch after all these years.